Hello again, I'm Deb Keyes with Stampin' on the Hill. Today we're going to do the Stampin' 101 Part 2, which is basic tools. And I'd like to just go through some basic things that we have going on here and like the minimal of the tools that you might need in order to begin stamping. So this whole series is based around trying to begin without spending a fortune on all of the things. Last time we talked about kits, different types of kits. And with that in mind, I'm going to show you a couple of things here. I did a spreadsheet for you too, so I'll make sure to show that too. But for now, I want to I'm going to show you down here in my hands. So I want to just show you from if you were to have gotten one of the kits, and this would be a actual stamping type kit. So either the paper pumpkin or one of the regular kits that actually has stamps and ink in it. The ones that are non-stamping probably aren't going to help you going forward, but it's a good way to start. So anyway, with your kit or paper pumpkin, you would have gotten some stamps. You would have gotten a clear block. You would have gotten some glue dots, and you would have gotten some sort of Stampin' Dimensionals. This particular one has the strips rather than the hexagon shaped ones. And you would have gotten a Stampin' Spot, which is just a 1x1 little ink spot of the color that matches whatever the kit has in it. So with that said, we're going to go through and I'm going to show you how easy this is, because what we have is if you had already gotten a kit, I'm going to show you my spreadsheet here a minute, and then we'll go back to it again in the end. So if you had already bought a kit previously that was a stamping kind of a kit, then you would already have spent, and I was guessing on prices here, you would already have spent $20-ish on that, and you would already have gotten some of these things. So acrylic block, well, let's start with here. So if you had a kit, then you at least have basic stamps. And in most cases, those stamps would include at least some greetings, sometimes some little embellishments or flowers or whatever kind of graphics. And otherwise, these are some of my recommendations. I'm gonna, I don't think I can split the screen, so let's go back to this view. So the layering leaves is an option that has both some leaves on it and some little graphic, forgot what you call them, like texture kind of a stamps. And it's got multiple greetings. So this would be perfect to get started. And this one's $24. Let's see. Something Fancy is another one that has multiple greetings only. There's no other kind of graphics with this, but this one is $23. And then this Charming Sentiments is another one that I was really having a lot of fun with. Unfortunately, this one's going to be retiring. So if you want this one, you better grab it up quick. This one's $23, but again, it just has sentiments, no other graphics. So those are some my recommendations for some stamps to just get started. And that's only if you haven't bought the kit already. So the next thing is an acrylic block. Again, if you had already started with the kit, you already have a clear acrylic block. And I would recommend, if you were going to buy an acrylic block, I recommend blocks C. I'm sorry, I can't even see this. Let's try again. Block D. This is a block D. You can almost see it. Maybe if I hold my finger under it, you can kind of see it. There's a D on one side of it. So I recommend block D, which is $9.50. And or this is a little bit longer one here. This is block H, and that's $9.50 as well. For the most part, most of your stamps are going to fit on something that are these two sizes. Even if it's smaller, I put little images on the bottoms or on these bigger blocks, and that way I don't have to have all of the sizes of blocks. So again, these are my recommendations if you choose to purchase acrylic blocks. Then what else do you need? Then you need some ink, right? Well, if you had already purchased a stamping kind of a kit, you already have at least one color. You might have multiples. The other color that I would recommend is the Memento Tuxedo Black, because no matter what other colors you put, you can always do your greetings in black, and it's going to go with everything. So I recommend this. This is $6.50. And then you also, as an option, you could also buy an 8-pack of these spots, and I think they're $24 for the assorted pack, and you get 8 different colors. There's not black, but you get 8 different regular colors in there. Let me think. So now we need something, paper or whatever, to stamp on. I recommend for beginners to start with the note cards and envelopes. This is the Whisper White, and the note cards are, well, this is half. So again, note card size. So let me just open them up for you a minute and let's look and see what size they really are. So these are going to be a smaller note card size, is typically smaller than what our standard cards are that we usually make. So this is going to be folded. It's going to be, let's measure it here. It's going to be 5 by, depends on which orientation you're going to use, by 3.5. So it's 5 this way, 3.5 this way. So you could use it either way, horizontal or portrait, landscape or portrait. And then the envelopes come in there as well. So that's an easy way to get started there. And those are $8 for, you get 20 of them, 20 cards and envelopes. So for $8. And then you also could do, if you just bought basic white cardstock, you get 40 sheets in a pack, and we use like a half of a sheet in order to make a card. So that would give you way more than enough of just basic white. So for beginners, I would recommend getting basic white, at least to start. And then, so for 40 sheets, it's $10.50. And then for colored cardstock, if you chose to do colored cardstock, you could buy a group, you can buy an assorted pack by color groups. I'm not going to get into all of that right now, but the color groups, you would get 10 colors, and I believe 2 each. So there's 20 sheets in there for $10. So that will give you a great start. And then of course, there's always designer series paper, various sizes. I didn't even try to put prices in there because depending on what sizes you get, there are 6 by 6, there are 12 by 12, and then there's memories and more kind of packs that you can get different stuff and make kind of kiddish types of cards, but that's for another day. We're going with just the basics here. So then we have adhesive. Well, if you in your kit, you already have probably some sort of Stampin' Dimensionals, and you already have the mini glue dots. Again, I usually prefer recommending we all call it green glue here in our little Facebook group, but the multi-purpose liquid glue, and this is $5.50, and you don't need a ton, so it goes a long way. And then for cutting, of course, the paper snips. These are my favorite tool. So, and I have multiple pairs of these because they're fairly inexpensive. These are $11. They're really sharp. Well, until you cut paper for a couple of years with them, and then they kind of dull. So I have a special pair that I put a piece of baker's twine on that I use just for cutting ribbon and baker's twine and that kind of stuff. And then I leave this pair for my paper cutting. They still work great. So these are $11. The other thing that if you're going with the note cards and envelopes, you certainly are not going to need a cutter right away, but I wanted to at least bring it out as an option. The cutter comes with both a cutting blade and a scoring blade. And I believe I have there's another video, and I'll link it in the comments or the description of this video, but on showing you the different attributes of this. But if you chose, the paper trimmer is $26. And let's see, then cleaning. Really, cleaning is pretty easy because most of the inks are water-based. And if you so choose beyond that, we have both a Simply Chamois, it's called, and I put mine in a case. It doesn't come with the case. It's just pink. It's a chamois. So it comes all a little bit moist in its protective acrylic or whatever packaging that it comes in. But it dries out, and you're supposed to, just rinse the ink out of it and then let it dry out, and then, re-moisten it when you're going to use it again. I sometimes just leave mine and it sort of dries out in the case, and this is just one of our regular stamping cases. You can buy these as well, but you don't have to put it in there. We also have a Stampin' Scrub and a Stampin' Mist. So you use the mist. Let me switch my camera back here a minute. So you use the mist, and you open it up, and it's a dry on one side and wet on the other side, and you use the Stampin' Mist to moisten the one side. You just scrub your stamps off, and then you dry them on the dry side, and then you put them away. So definitely none of these options are necessary. You can take your stamps to actually, what I did for the longest time is I just put, my blotter paper down that I'm using under my stamping anyway, and I just stamp it off on the blotter paper until there's no ink left on it, and it's clean enough. But if you so choose, you can go run them under some water. You don't even need soap. Just run it until the water runs clear and everything's all good. Dry them off a little and put them back in the cases. Let's see. So let me go back to my spreadsheet and just give you an idea of, so this is how I did my spreadsheet. So this was like the kit cost, and then these are optional items in this column right here. I also put the item numbers in, and then I put some notes in here just for my purposes, really. So let's see. So I'm assuming that you already bought a kit, so approximately $20-ish, $21, $23, something like that. The blocks you would have already had. I did add the $6.50 for the memento, even though you're going to have at least one ink spot in that kit. And then $8 for note cards and envelopes, so you can get started that way. The adhesive, I added the $5.50 for your green glue, and then I put some other things over here in case you wanted to buy mini glue dots or Stampin' Dimensionals. Let me think. And then for cutting the paper snips, you don't have to buy paper snips, but they're so awesome. I figured I might as well add those in as a must-have. And then the paper trimmer cost is here. For cleaning, if you're just using water, I can't seem to grab that one. If you're just using water, of course, that you don't have to pay extra for that. Just use your kitchen sink. And then the options are over here. The Simply Chamois $8.50, and it works. It's great. You can leave it moist on your desk, and you just, when you're done stamping with your stamp, you just reach over and rub it off and put it away. It's great. So that would be my recommendation if you were to purchase something. I put a note in here. Well, a couple notes. Let me just run through them quick. If you're a sewer, if you do sewing, You could also use a rotary cutter and just cut your paper. I wouldn't use my material blade for that, but if you have an older blade, you could cut your paper with that easily. And then a couple of notes, the mini glue dots and the Stampin' Dimensionals each have 300 pieces in each pack. And then I think I hit the rest of these notes that I put on here already. So thank you for joining me for part 2, and hopefully you have gotten some knowledge out of this video. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you'd like to have one, I would love to be yours. So look me up, send me an email. All of my details are all on all of my social channels, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all those. And you can email me as well. If you're not on my email list, be sure to ask me how to get on that, because I only send one email a month, but it is filled with all kinds of great ideas, and I always put tutorials in there, free tutorials for cards that we've made. And then I'm also I will put these links in the description of the video, but I did a video earlier on the different types of inks to use for the different types of stamping projects. And then I mentioned the one about the trimmer in there. And I also will leave my my link to do any shopping that you choose to do. So again, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.